cool. So, yeah, today it's really May the 22nd, and we are here so honored to have Ken and his friend and our friend Esta to join us as a guest. It's amazing that we can share our passion about skiing, and I'm sure that Esta will inspire us and share us a lot of her story a lot. So I'm really getting excited. Yeah. So
well,
sorry.
I was just going to say, let me start here. I just want to introduce my friend Esta. We've been friends for a long time, and we've worked together on some projects off the ski hill, and I've trained Esta on the ski hill, and she is one of my prize students. Esta didn't start skiing young. She started skiing in her 40s. She had never skied before. She's from South Africa. She started skiing in her 40s, and she passed her level 3 2 seasons ago.
3
seasons ago, and she was in her 60s. And so I brought her on to the Zoom meeting here this week to inspire you guys and to hear her story of how she went from a 0 to a hero. So maybe you can tell us that story.
Okay, thank you, Ken, and everybody. It's super honor for me to be speaking to you. And I just want to correct Ken on one thing. I was born in Zimbabwe, which was Rhodesia, not South Africa.
It's Rhodesia, Africa.
Yeah, Rhodesia was a British colony, so
yeah.
I'm colonialist. Anyway,
okay.
The only snow that I ever saw growing up was, when the TV goes funny and they lose the connection and it's all funny. That's the snow that I grew up with, and then moved to Canada in my 20s, late 20s, with a son and my ex-husband. And the snow that I saw, somebody said, "You've got to see snow. Let's get in the car. We'll drive you to Peterborough," which was an hour away. So we drove an hour so that I could see snow. And I'm wearing like thin cotton pants and shoes with no socks. Freezing, but I was so excited. Then later, when it was, I think the 84 Olympics was my first real vision of skiing, and I was absolutely amazed, these people going so fast down the mountain. So I thought that's what skiing was. Anyway, fast forward, my son was in his teens and went to a school trip, came back and said, "Mom, you've got to learn how to ski." And I'm thinking, oh my God, no, I don't want to do what those crazy Canucks were doing, throwing themselves. He said, no, that's not what skiing is. You don't drive like Le Mans. It's not a race. And real people don't ski like that. Only the racing people do. So I thought, oh, okay. And he said, "Look, Mom, you always say to us, you don't know until you try something. You have to try it." So I thought, oh my gosh, okay. So I went to a little tiny place, and you guys from Ontario, Upland Ski Resort, which is basically a ditch. So you drive into it, and then you look down, there's a little river and maybe 6 turns, and that's where I learned to ski. So from the very first lesson, I was like, oh my God, this is so fun, that I went straight away and bought equipment, which was silly of the guy to sell it to me, because after 3 weeks, the equipment was no good. Anyway, so then after the 3rd lesson, this wonderful girl said, "You should join a ski club." My mom joined a ski club. Once a week, the bus comes and picks you up at a shopping center, and you go, and then you have lessons all day, or you can free ski. And I thought, oh my God, this is great. So the 3rd season, I did that. And the 1st season, I did 10 lessons. And it was so funny because I thought after the lesson, I went home like you would if you went to a math lesson or a piano lesson. I didn't know that you could stay there and practice. But now it's ridiculous. But, I didn't know. Anyway, And then my son and I started going to the ski club, and then a wonderful woman, Joan Fidel, who was a racer until she was in her late 80s. She was 62 at the time. She said, you know, you and your son should become instructors. And I'm like, what? So she said, yes, you got to go for this course and everything. And okay, so my son and I went. And in a year or two later, we did a level 2, we got it. Then we did level 1 coach, which for me was really exciting because it was a whole different thing. I never grew up with skiing at all. And then I got a job at Blue Mountain. And one of my favorite times of teaching was the 7 years I spent coaching kids. And I had never raced myself, which is such an ironic thing. And sometimes when it's Whistler Cup, there are kids that I've taught skiing who've come and raced there. So I'm quite proud of that. Anyway, so that basically, then I started skiing. And so many people said, oh, you know, you didn't grow up skiing. It's going to be super hard for you. You won't understand the sliding and skiing on snow. You're too old and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, why are they saying that? It's fun. And I didn't care. And then I don't know where, but somewhere along the way, I got sucked into the idea. I didn't think I could ever do level 3. I never thought about it after level 2. I used to watch other people go and get their level 3. I thought, wow, oh my God, oh my God. Because the one thing I couldn't do was to ski bumps. I would try and I just didn't get it. And then one day, a pilot by the name of Jason Scott, he's with WestJet, very funny guy, said, come and ski with me. And he broke it down. And then I realized, wow, if I break things down and do it, the little pieces of it, and just get one piece instead of trying to do the whole thing, it made sense. And I think that's when I started to understand how to really learn how to teach and how to, not just my students, but myself, and how to get better. And I noticed that whenever I have a problem with skiing, I would try to break it down myself. Or when I came across Kenny, who's a genius at breaking things down, as you all know, if you've learned with him, it makes sense. He gives you little chunks that are handleable. You know, it's like if you have to clean the house and you look at the whole house and you think, oh my God, how am I going to, so much. But you think, okay, I'm just going to clean this corner of the room. And then it takes you 15 minutes. It motivates you to clean the next section and the next section. So that's kind of where I went. But the part about where it hurt when people told me that I was too old. And that was, about 18 years ago, I was told I'd never get my level 3 because I was too old. And I actually called the guy a month ago who told me that. And he was kind of shocked. Anyway, we had a conversation about it. He said he didn't remember saying that. Sure, you don't remember. But anyway, and I did find, like, I was still always scared to take the exams. But I think one of the mistakes that I made along the way was always looking for, how was that run? Was that okay? Did I do this okay? Did I do that okay? No, stop. Just look back, do what you're told, get it going. You'll feel when you've got it. You'll know when you've got it, because part of what we do, all of us, which is part of what drives us to be ski instructors and get as far as we have, is because we're so detail oriented and so technical, we forget to look at the music, the feeling of it, like it's like dancing. I remember one guy, I watched him ski and I said, how do you ski the bumps? It looks like you're floating. And he said, oh, I just think it feels like dancing. And I was like, what? I just didn't understand it. And then once or twice I got the feeling and I thought, okay, I got it once or twice. Now I just need to get it 3 times, 5 times, 20 times. And then it's like suddenly it's there and they say, I think I got it. And then when it came, every time I would be on session or classes, I just once or twice, I suddenly realized, oh my God, I'm the only woman in the class. Or, oh my God, all of these people are young enough to be my kids. And only then did it, not that it bothered me, but it came to my attention, but it never really, really bothered me. It didn't. And it was people like Ken, Denis, who said to my face, you will get your level 3. I know you'll get it. Kenny said that to me when I first arrived in Whistler in 2008. And I thought, wow, these people believe in me. I need to believe in myself. I thought, okay, one day I'll get there. One day I'll get there. So it wasn't, you can get hung up on, I got to get my level 3. I got to get the pen. And then somebody turned to me and said, it's not your level 3. It's only yours after you've got it. That was like a slap in the face. But sometimes I think about it and think, well, yeah, I guess so. But, you know, it's how you think about it. It's your attitude. So again, a lot of it is attitude and how you think about it. You know, if you, when I'm driving, sometimes I think, oh, I got to drive. I don't feel like driving. But then once I'm in the car and it's like, oh, this is like skiing. And a lot of times I'm doing something and it feels like skiing and I relate to it. And that I think helps with clients. Horse riding, I found, relates to skiing, turning corners where, you know, sometimes your skis feel like they have a mind of their own, like a horse, and you've got to get the control back or go with it kind of thing. And riding a bike, same thing. There's so many things that if you relate it to skiing, there's a saying, if I could just read it to you, if you don't mind, I can send it to you all. It's from Emerson, Ralph Waldo Emerson. He said, when you do a thing, do it with all of your might. Put your whole soul into it. Stamp it with your own personality. Be active, be energetic, be enthusiastic and faithful, and you will accomplish your object. Nothing great was ever achieved without enthusiasm. And I think that enthusiasm we translate to passion, the love of it. Like you can see when somebody's skiing that they're loving what they're doing. J.S. Forget, you watch him ski and it's like watching a child. The late Eric Rousseau. Yeah, watching him was, you couldn't not laugh when you watched him ski because as powerful and athletic he was, it was fun to watch him. And you knew it was like he was having a party on his skis. So anyway, I don't know, I feel like I'm talking too much. But
I have a question.
Yes. Awesome.
First of all, here, I want to show a picture to everyone. That's Esta skiing right there. That's a good picture. That's from the ProView magazine. And Esta is the editor of ProView magazine. There it is. That's Esta showing a nice short radius turn. It looks like good angulation, nice pole plant, looking really nice there. So that's a great shot of Esta. And I guess I want to maybe start the questions here. Maybe get some more conversation going. Esta, which did you find more challenging, the skiing or the teaching?
It changed. Sometimes I thought, oh wow, the skiing's getting better. It's easy. I noticed that I was getting better each season, except for one season where I had a really horrible pair of boots and it set me back a lot. As long as I was improving, I felt that, not that it was easy, but it wasn't that difficult. I did find the teaching was difficult because being super detail oriented and being more visual, it was kind of harder for me to learn all the stuff. And I found that I had to learn it off by heart. For instance, the technical references, I learned them off by heart. But then what I found made it easier to understand was to take one of the technical references and say, right, today I'm going to focus on this. Whether it would be teaching my clients using that technical reference over and over, for myself as I was skiing in the morning session or skiing to get somewhere else, or because I had an hour free, was to, while I was skiing, think about how and where and when and what part of the body and what part of the turn and what did it do for my skiing. So like turning the legs against the upper body, what did that do? How did that feel? When did that really happen? How is it happening? What happened before? What did it allow me to do after? If I didn't do it properly, what did it stop me from achieving? So I thought I would just do it for a minute, but then I found that it was more helpful. You can take a whole week or more just focusing on that one thing and trying to really understand it, not just with your mind, but with your whole body and the parts of your body.
Here's another question, Esta.
Mm-hmm.
What aspect of the skiing did you find the most difficult?
Oh, the thing that I had to work on from the very first lesson. That thing will follow you till the day you die. For me, it was bending too much at the knees, which made me sit back.
Okay.
So correcting something like that. Is that what you...
No, we have 4 runs.
Okay.
It's difficult.
The intermediate parallel.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But that was in the last couple of years before. Like the bumps were always the most difficult part until about 6 or 7 years ago.
And then it became the intermediate parallel.
Yeah, because that one, it's harder to ski slowly and stay in balance and get your timing right, I found, for me.
Okay.
And I think a lot of people can say the same.
Well, here's a piece of information that I think will interest everyone. And that is that just before the season before Esta passed her level 3, she broke her leg. And it was a bad broken leg. And Esta, you know, I'm not going to say the number, but she was in her late 60s with a broken leg. And then
I was 66.
She broke her leg and she wanted to pass the level 3 the next season. And she had to do the ski off, still recovering from the fracture in her leg. So psychologically, that was an issue. Physically, that was an issue. And I remember the ski off. We did the bump run. I think it was Staircase over on Blackcomb. Is that correct, Esta?
No. The bump run was on Green Acres with rocks and trees and things sticking up, and it had snowed and rained and froze. It was crazy conditions.
It was so tough, wasn't it?
It was crazy conditions. Out of 20, no, there were 31 of us, and only 3 of us passed the skiing that day.
Okay, so it was really difficult skiing. So so here's a question. How did you overcome those challenges? How did you rise to the occasion so that you were able to ski really rotten snow, really difficult skiing with recovering from a broken leg and hoping that on that run, on that day, you could deliver your best performance? How did you prepare for that?
Good question. Well, first of all, I already practiced a broken injury before. In 2006, I broke my ankle not skiing, and I had to recover from that same leg. And a friend of mine who's a psychologist got me to do self-hypnosis. And part of the self-hypnosis is visualization. So visualizing the injury getting better and all that, blah, blah, blah. In each case, I healed really fast, faster than each of the doctors originally predicted. So that was encouraging. And I did whatever I could, whatever any doctor or health person said, do it, I did it. And then also, so it never bothered me, because it also forced me to ski more smoothly, because it hurt if I didn't.
Yeah.
And that, I think, actually helped me in the bumps. It made me be smooth. It helped me keep snow contact, because it hurt if I didn't. And other than that, it never hurt. It never bothered me. So physically, as long as I wasn't in pain, I was good with that. Then the night before the exam, backtrack a bit. My girlfriend told me, visualize, what snow do you hate? What conditions do you hate? I thought, when it rains. I can't stand it when it rains. I hate the goopy, thick stuff. It bugs me when people are chatting in my ear and being stupid and making loud noises and that kind of stuff. She said, okay, when you visualize, when you go to bed, visualize yourself skiing on the horriblest snow that you absolutely can't stand, difficult bumps that you don't like. In your visualization, imagine that there's crowds of people around you just talking and getting on your nerves. And anyway, that night before the exams, I was telling Lynn that I thought, okay, I got to go to bed early. So I went to bed early, 10 o'clock. And I fell asleep sometime after struggling to fall asleep. I thought, okay, right, I fell asleep. And then I woke up and thought, oh my God, what, have I overslept? Is it the alarm clock? And I look at the clock and it's 1:30. Oh my God, I've only had like 2 hours sleep. So I finally get back to sleep again, and the same thing again happens. And I look, it's 3:30, and I'm like, oh no, I've got 2 more hours left and haven't had enough sleep. And I thought, you know what, too bad. I've signed up, I'm just going to deal with it. And then I was visualizing all this, the usual stuff. Wake up, get to Whistler. I wasn't nervous because I thought, you know what, I've messed myself up. So what? I don't care. I'm going to ski. I'm going to have fun. It had been pouring the night. And then it started snowing, and there was about 2 feet of elephant snot. It was glue. Everybody was complaining, oh, this is not fair. We should cancel and do it another day, and blah, 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 blah. And all the examiners said, look, we're all in the same thing. We're not going to mark you any harder or any less. You're all in the same situation. Deal with it. And I started laughing because I'm thinking, these are the people getting on my nerves, complaining. And I started laughing, and I looked at the snow. I thought, yeah, I visualized this. This is exactly what I visualized. And also when I used to practice, if there was yucky snow on the side, I would on purpose go and ski in the yucky snow, and to get used to that. And while I was skiing down, doing the intermediate parallel, I was suddenly relaxed because I suddenly didn't care. I didn't. Oh yeah, look at this muck. Everybody's complaining. And after the second run, it was half moguls, half ice, rocks, everything. And I started to hum to myself Brahms' Lullaby. And I got stuck halfway through because I couldn't remember how it went after the 4th bar. And I started laughing at myself because I just started at the beginning. Da 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 dum da dum da 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 dum da dum. Shit, what's next? Okay, just start. But I started laughing, and I was laughing as I passed the examiners, one of whom was Aaron Keem. He thought I was laughing at them standing in the rain with their clipboards marking that I was, and I was laughing at myself. Because after he asked me, he said, why were you laughing at us? I said, Aaron, I wasn't laughing at you. I was laughing because of, and I explained. He said, chicken dinner. Does anyone know Aaron's chicken dinner story? No. So when you're skiing and you're focusing and trying to understand and learn, it's okay, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. The day that you aren't doing that and you think, I wonder what I should have for dinner. Chicken. Yeah, I'm gonna have chicken for dinner. Then you're at the end of the run, you suddenly realize, oh my God, I wasn't thinking about the 1/8 of an inch and the angulation and the this and the that. That's a chicken dinner moment. When you can find yourself skiing and thinking about something else, not skiing, that's when you know you're totally relaxed and in sync with your body and the snow and your skis.
I love it. I love it.
So I think Esther, we discussed about the disconnection in between our brain and our body. That is very typical for us as adult skiers. Sometimes we tend to overthink.
Yeah.
And I know that you have a good trick in training your student.
Yes.
That, right? On the bumps.
Right. Those of you guys possibly know Jeff Sinclair, level 4 in Ontario. When I had this really difficult time with the bumps, we were at Mount St. Louis, and the bumps are super close together because of lots of kids skiing them on tiny little skis. It gets icy there and really tracked out fast. If you aren't skiing the bumps by lunchtime, they're going to be horrible after lunch. So we were on this training thing, and Jeff Sinclair and all of us were like, oh my God, the bumps, this and like that, but what about this and that, and all technical questions. And Jeff said, stop. Everybody find a partner. And we're standing at the top of the run, and that run is under the chairlift, the main chairlift. He said, I want you to ask each other questions as you're skiing beside each other down the bumps, like sort of synchro. Doesn't have to be perfect. And by the end of the run, I want you to find out about your partner, what they had for breakfast, what they had for lunch, how old they are, how many kids they are. It doesn't matter. Just ask them 5 questions. And at the bottom of the run, you're going to tell the rest of the group what you found out about your partner. And what we found, that by the time you got to the 3rd question or the 4th question each, so that's 6 questions, the bump run was over. And we got to the bottom, we were like, oh, but I only know 3 things about this person. And Jeff started laughing, and he said, I don't even want to hear what you found out about your partner. I want you to know that because you weren't thinking about exactly what to do, where and when and how, you were relaxed enough that your body knew what to do, because you've all done these bumps. Everybody skied at least 100 bumps in their life. So you know what to do, where and when and how. But if you're overthinking of it, by the time you've thought about what to do, that moment has passed and you screw it up. So because you were asking each other questions unrelated, that helped you like disconnect, but still be in connection with your body. And I tried this. I think Kenny's met this client of mine. She was a very, very, very big lady, very, very scared. The first day I had her, she never skied more than three turns in a row. And she'd be all nervous and start crying. And it was really hard. But it took 4 days to get her to do 8 turns in a row. And it took us 3 hours to get from mid-station down to the bottom. Anyway, she now, 4 years later, can ski a blue run with powder, nonstop to the next section. And what I did that with her because she's a surgeon, very, very detailed, a back surgeon. She would always ask me such super detailed questions. She drove me crazy. And I said to her one day, I said, Sandy, stop that. I said, right, this next section, we're going to ski it. And I want you to go through the alphabet and tell me a vegetable with each letter. So she says, what, are you crazy? I said, no, please, just do it. So we start. She said, aubergine, broccoli, carrots, and she couldn't get past G. She couldn't find anything with G. And she stops. I said, no, keep going. She said, but I don't know a vegetable G. I said, all right, switch to fruit. It doesn't matter. Grenadilla, guava, keep going. We skied the whole section. And she said, what have you just done to me? So I said, well, did you notice we skied the whole run without stopping, and you normally stop 6 times on that section? She said, oh my God, you've done psychology on me. It's like, yep. So again, so that's a trick. Kenny and I were talking earlier about, yes, you do need to do an intense focus on teaching your muscles what to do, focusing on technical stuff, but you've also got to give yourself a break and do a trick like that. I'm sure some of you have found tricks. I find kids often will sing. And you'll ask them, oh, you sound so happy. Why are you singing? Oh, no, I'm singing because I'm nervous. And it's interesting how they will. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, that is really interesting. You know, today before our sharing, I was thinking about, what we talked earlier today. And I heard a saying that sometimes we believe our soul is living in our body. But the reality is our body is living in our soul. That's really very interesting. And it's really resonate inside of me for what you shared with me. And it's very interesting relationship, the logic. And sometimes I also feel that he's, just empower your body or bend your brain from instruction, just like a mother talking to the teenager. Like
yes.
I was teaching the body to do so, but sometimes I need to switch off the instruction and allow the body to do the job.
I like that.
Yeah.
Here, I have another picture of Esta. There we go.
Okay.
There's another picture of Esta. That's
in
her
shock. In shock.
3. Isn't that great?
When they said my name, I got the skiing first, funnily enough. And when they read my name, I looked around the room to see who that was. And then I realized it was me. I was like, oh my God.
So I guess we should open it up. Like if people have questions for Esta, find out how she trained or how she was able to perform what seems like a miracle, start skiing at 42 and pass level 3 at 68. Are those numbers correct, Esta?
Start at 40 and got the level 3 at 67.
Start at 40, pass level 3 at 67. I think there's a few people watching here that have also started skiing late. So why don't we let other people ask some questions, because you're such an interesting person because of this late start that you had with skiing and the late success that you found. So who has questions?
I have a question. Yeah.
Yes.
For Esta, yeah. Thanks a lot for the sharing us with the inspiring
my
story.
honor.
Okay. I have a question about a little bit detail things about the you talked about like I think it's Jason Scott taught you about the bumps skiing. He breaks things down. So can you go a little bit detail how he broke things down, because bumps is my difficult
right.
things also, yeah.
Yeah, he said we are not going to ski the whole run all at once. We went on the side and we went in, did one bump and came out. In one and came out. Then we went on the other side, we went back up and went on the other side and did that. Now in Ontario, the runs are short, so it's easy to do that. In Whistler or other big resorts, you just do that on sections because there's always bumps the whole way down. Then the next thing that he did, the best exercise, which I do a lot with my clients and I find it works a lot, is to do one turn and imagine you, especially when this other thing I'm going to address is this thing about fear. So you're scared. Okay, how many turns do you have to do? You only have to do one. And then when you're ready, then you do another one, whether it takes a second or a minute or 5 minutes, it doesn't matter. So what he said, just have the intention to just turn and stop on the bump or at the bump, anywhere, wherever it happens. Okay, great, that's awesome. Then we would do one the other way, turn and stop. And then he shouted at me. He said, hey, 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 because I thought, oh, this is great. And I did 2 or 3. He said, I said only one. So then it showed me, oh my goodness, without realizing it kind of encouraged myself to do more than just one. So we did a series of those. And I think, Kenny, are they called garland turns where you do to the same side each time?
Yeah,
So
garlands.
Right. So we did that. And that made a lot of sense because it stopped me from being afraid that I was going to fall trying the next turn. Do you know what I mean? Mm. So if I turned and stopped, I did one perfect turn one way, then another way, or 3 or 4 or 5 the same way. So where do you ski, Bingster? Where do you mostly ski at?
In Blue Mountains. Yeah,
Blue Mountain. Okay, so on memory, that's where we did it. So and then we would ski partway down the main part and then ski the last 3 bumps. Then go back up and ski, get in at 5 bumps. So in one way, it kind of, it builds that way. So just little piece adding and adding.
Sure, thanks.
Thank you. Thanks, my pleasure. Next.
Who else has a question?
Okay, so Esta, this is
Hi.
Lulu. I'm sure over years of skiing, being a skiing and brushing up skills, every so often we'll reach certain period we call it plateau.
Yep.
You find it's hard to get advanced, and so I just wonder, what's your secret to keep the passion through that part until the next level?
It's not even to focus on that plateau, because I found that with a plateau, like, it's because I haven't understood something's stopping me. And when I said that about taking the technical reference, work through it from different angles. Like, how does it help? How does it, ask yourself questions. Also skiing with friends. I've skied with Kevin, I've skied with Curtis, with various other people on the call, and getting different perspectives. Not so much asking, oh, did I do that okay, or have I got better? It's not about always looking for somebody to tell you that, oh, you skied that awesome. I don't want the awesome information. I want the information like, you know what, have you tried this? Or, you know what, this works for me, and oh, I'll try that. It's not, because sometimes, you know, the encouragement is great, but at the same time, yeah, okay, I may be doing this great, but if I work on something else, that'll make the great thing even greater. Or if I'm doing something great, to focus, oh, well, you said I skied that great. What about it did you like? What part of it did you think that was great? And I found when I started asking that, people were saying, oh, you're so smooth, you're so smooth. And I would like, oh, it's because I have to be. But then I thought, oh, well, then that's my signature. That's my signature in skiing is the smoothness. So I would try to bring that in everything. And then all of a sudden someone will say, oh, you need to be more aggressive. And then instead of saying, yeah, okay, I would ask them why. Ask why. Don't be shy to ask why. And sometimes they'll look at you, what do you mean? Because I told you. No, but why? And I've done that to Ken a lot. but usually Ken, as you're thinking why in your head, he usually answers the why. So it's really cool when I can get my own why in that he hasn't already addressed. Does that help you? The other thing also, when I mentioned earlier that I found that every season when I looked at it, I thought, yeah, I did improve this season, because I know, for instance, at the beginning of the season, I was afraid of a specific run called Toilet Bowl. I used to always be afraid of it and hated it. And now I use that with my clients to show them how good they are when they get to the bottom of it. But that season, I got worse and I got more scared of it. And I thought, what is going on? What is going on? And then I went with, I forget who it was. I think maybe Aaron Keem said, you know what? Your boots suck. And I'm like, what? And he said, yeah, your boots suck. They're too floppy, too flexed, which is making you sit back and lower more. You need and he put something in my boots, like a bit of cardboard, and it did improve a bit. And he said, no, it's not working. Get rid of the boots. And sometimes it helps. Go take a look at your equipment as a second thought. You know, sometimes it's that.
Yeah, I'm just going to say, we talked about this last week. The boots are the most important piece of equipment, first of all. And when you're learning and you reach a plateau, sometimes you have to go backwards or back down in order to go up further. So that thing that has gotten you, the movement pattern that has gotten you to a certain level, sometimes you have to unlearn that. Your skiing gets a little bit worse, and then it starts to get better again. So it's an interesting process. It's an interesting line of progression that skiers take as they get better. And the biggest thing is to stay emotionally positive, understanding and knowing that sometimes you're going to get a little bit worse before you develop the new moves that are going to take you to a higher level. So, I think, Esta, you mentioned that, just the importance of positivity as well as visualizing success. So,
yeah, I'm just going to add that. I remember one day a group of us were to be skiing with Kenny, and he said, right. And he took us to a beginner area, and we were like, but we came here to work on our level 3. And he made us do snowplow all day. But I tell you what, by the end of that week, and I taught a lot of beginner lessons as well that week, my skiing had a big jump at the end of that week.
You are correct.
Yep.
You are correct. Yeah.
Oh, and the other awesome thing that Kenny did, do you remember we were with Gianni, and it had frozen, and we went on, what's that? The guy who smoked pot, Rebel Yachty's run, what's it called? Ross's Gold, that run. So it was frozen. The beginning of the day, Ken brings out his camera, and we're like, but we're not warm up. And he said, no, short radius here down this. And I'm thinking, oh my God, it's frozen. He said, it doesn't matter, there's a reason for this. So he videoed each of us coming down this frozen, bulletproof thing, short radius. I was trying to think of ways that I could get out of the lesson. Then he took us to the glacier, to, what's it called again? I always forget the names in the summer. But the snow was beautiful there. And he said, right, same thing, short radius down here. We skied with it. Oh my God, I'm like a rock star here. We go in the lesson hut, and he picked on Gianni because Gianni was a loudmouth. He deserved it. And Kenny he didn't tell us which run it was. He said, right, played the video of Gianni and said, was this the run on Ross's Gold, or was this the glacier run? So that's the glacier run. He said, no, that was the Ross's Gold run. Like, what? Can you explain it from here? Why did both runs look so good?
Well,
and they felt horrible.
We have a pattern of movement that is ingrained in our body, and the variable is the snow conditions. The thing that is constant is your movement pattern. So you can ski on really difficult snow, like frozen ice, crusty snow, and your job as a skier is to move correctly, to ski the way you know how to ski, and don't worry about the sensations of the hard snow coming up through your feet, because you can't control that. And this is true for all skiers. You can look at your skiing when the snow is really bad, look at your skiing when the snow is really good, and if you're skiing well, both look the same, even though the run on the nice snow feels better than the run on the hard frozen snow. So again, control what is within your ability, within your power to control, and things like snow condition, they're not in your control. Don't worry about it. Just move correctly and don't worry about the snow and the feeling that's underneath your feet. I think that's the lesson that I was getting at. So
it's like driving a car on tar or on rocks. Yeah. That was
same thing too. When you're on a level 3 ski off, so many people are going into the ski off thinking, if the snow is really good, then I can find success. But if it's frozen, or if it's sticky, or if it's, I don't know, rain type snow, then I won't ski as well. But that's the wrong attitude to take. You're going to ski the same on the bad snow as you are on the good snow. It's just going to feel worse on the hard snow. So
chicken dinner.
Yeah, so go into it. And as a matter of fact, if you really want success on a level 3 ski off, you go into the ski off hoping for bad snow. That gives you the opportunity to show the course conductors how well you do in difficult conditions. And that's the right mental attitude to take. Would you agree?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. One of the other things was that on the bump section of the exam, the examiners said, ski the bumps. So there was a bump section and then it flattened out. And then there's like a road. Mm-hmm. So they said, ski all the way, maintaining the rhythm all the way to the road. Mm-hmm. Only 3 of us did that. Everybody else came to the end of the bumps and then just petered out. I remember seeing at the 4th last bump, I thought, oh my God, there's the end of the bump to run. I better keep my speed up so I can get to the road.
Yeah.
that was
so you showed that
terrain adaptation. It's not just the bumps.
Terrain adaptation and listening.
Mm-hmm. What they tell you. Do what they tell you. Yes. I think Kevin pointed that out to me as well at some point. Okay.
Kevin, who's on the call?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin's another guy. Kevin did so great. Are you there, Kevin?
Kevin helped me a lot. We skied a lot together. We practiced a lot together.
Yep. Kevin did so great. He passed his level 3 skiing. I think it was his first try.
Yes. Yeah. We did it together.
Yep. I was so proud of him.
Did the teaching together.
Because when in so many of his runs on that ski off, his first run was so bad and his second run was so good. So Kevin was able to calm himself down in between runs and ski the way he could with the pressure on, where he had to deliver on the second run, and Kevin was able to do that. So I was so proud of Kevin as well. First try for Kevin.
Thank you.
There he is.
Thanks.
So Kevin, which did you find more difficult? Did you find the teaching or the skiing more difficult?
I find the preparation for the teaching, skiing was more difficult for me.
Okay.
Was more stressful for the teaching, but just for the preparation, skiing takes more time to prepare.
Yeah.
It was more effort to me.
I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right. And if I remember correctly, you went skiing first and then did second. Is that correct?
Yes, and then the teaching for the next exam. So that way I can break down the stress.
Yes. Yeah, break down the stress. Would you recommend people do that with their approach to level 3?
I would. Yeah. My wife is doing that too. When I passed my ski, and I told her you have to do your ski now. And now she's preparing for her teach, because she's not doing both together, but she's also breaking it down.
Yeah. And Esta, are you there?
Yep. Yes.
Esta, did you also do that? Did you do the skiing first and the teaching second?
No, I did it all at once, and then I had to repeat the teach, because I didn't pass the teach the first go.
Okay, so you did the skiing and the teach the first go. Got the skiing.
I got the skiing the first time, and then had to repeat the teach.
Yeah. Okay. If you were to do it over again, would you do one and then the other?
Yeah. Yeah. Because it was really tiring. It was super exhausting.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah. Yeah. And I did a much better job too. But also I have to say, I went out with Ken 2 days before the teach exam. He shouted at me. I hated him.
Yeah.
But then I loved him after, because every time I made a mistake, he stopped me and questioned me, but questioned me deeply. Why did you say that? What do you mean by that? That doesn't mean anything. And he was really hard, but I needed that. I needed that. And it was just me and Kev and Kenny, and I think Kim came on one time, and there was a couple, two other ladies.
Was there maybe Momo was there, I think? And
yes, another lady. And
me, Momo and me.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
And
I was there. Yeah.
yes, that's right. And you gave me the videos. Yes.
Yeah.
So because there were just three of us, I didn't feel bad when Kenny shouted at me. So
I remember that part. Yeah.
Yes, and the two ladies were so lovely to me. It was like very close and nice. It was really nice to learn in a group like that. And the funny thing again, when we did a routine, we did it like 4 or 5 times over, something like that. The same run, the same thing.
Same run.
The day of the exams, that run was closed. So instead of panicking, I thought, oh, of course that run's closed, because I visualized that something would happen. And sure enough, it did happen. But in my head, I was like, good, I now know what to do, because it didn't throw me. It didn't throw me off. If you expect something bad, it'll never happen as bad as what you can visualize. Like, you can visualize dragons and all kinds of stuff. But it's actually funny when it happens, because most of the other people are not expecting it, and they're freaking out, and you're calm, totally calm.
Yeah. Yeah, you were very caught up. I remember when I was training you that day, you were very caught up on how to manage the terrain. What if this happens? What if that happens?
Too much detail. Much detail.
You were getting too much into the detail and not seeing the big picture.
Yeah.
And then when you did the exam, you had a whole different way of thinking. So I think it was a blessing when the terrain was closed and you had to work on a different run.
Yeah, I have to say I'm very proud that I lost 1 mark on the exam. And I asked Wade, why did I lose the mark? And he said that when we were coming back down towards the lift, Blackcomb had closed the terrain park, and part of the terrain park came out where everybody else came down to the Jersey cream chair. It was really dangerous. It was bad. And I said to everybody, okay, there's no point in skiing from here. Go to the chair. I'll meet you all at the chair. And I counted all the people, and there was this one gentleman who had a pain in his hip. I was constantly looking after him, but I lost him on that run. So I assumed he already went ahead, but he didn't. He was left behind. So they said, well, we had to find something. You can't get 100%. So we said, well, you didn't check to see where that guy was.
Okay,
like,
so
I did. And I thought, shut up, don't argue.
So really, he should have lost a mark for that.
Yes, he should have lost a mark for that, for sure.
So,
yeah.
So you got close. You got close to 100% on your teaching.
Yes, I only lost that 1 mark.
Yeah, very good.
Everything. Yeah, I was happy
Very
with
good.
that. Thank you to Kenny.
Well, I was so proud of you, Esta. That was such a great accomplishment.
Thank you. Well, you know, I didn't do it by myself. A lot of people helped along the way. Some didn't even know. And actually, Jason Scott, when I was flying to Atlanta, Jason Scott was the pilot on my trip to Toronto. And I had brought my level 3. I actually got 2 level 3 pins. Wade gave me one of the traditional old ones because he said I did such a good job. And I was so honored. And I had the 2 in my purse with me because I wanted to show my brother in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking at the pilot. I thought, I recognize that guy's face. I wonder who it is. then of course, you know, they say, oh, and your pilot, Jason, blah, 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 blah. And I'm thinking, so I asked the flight attendant, is the pilot's last name Scott? She said, I don't know. We don't know each other's names. We just work together. Same as ski school, right? So I said, well, could you ask him if he's a level 4 CSIA? And she looked at me like, what? Anyway, she goes, and then all of a sudden I'm reading and looking at something on my iPad, and this face comes in front of my face, and it's Jason. And I'm looking at, oh my God. And I immediately go in my purse, pulled out my pins, and I held my pins out in front of his face. So, oh, great, that's really good. So it was really lovely. And I said, thank you for your bump instruction, because that's how I taught all my students when I'm teaching the bumps. It was so lovely. So he didn't even know how much he helped me. So Lulu, you can tell him if you come across him again. But it's so good. And when I see Ken's like my brother. And it really, it's amazing how many people can help you. Kevin, for example. Kevin, how many times you came out with me, and Alice, and you guys, you know, you all have to help each other. Like some people don't, they don't want to, they're private or whatever it is, they're shy. But if you can help somebody, it helps you more. It helps you so much.
I would like to say something. I would like to say something right here.
Yeah.
If Jason is coming back to congratulate you, who the hell is flying the plane?
Well, I said to him, when he's talking to me, and I said, shouldn't you be flying the plane? And he said, oh, it's on automatic.
The plane is going.
Oh, by the way, speaking of which, you know Zena? What's her name? Monique, have you seen photos of her at her job?
No, I've flown with her though.
Oh, no, I'm talking about now. I'll find the picture. Wait, keep talking and I'll find the picture in the meantime.
Okay.
You'll freak how she has to dress now. Well,
okay.
as a flight attendant.
Or she's out of her mask.
Can you use time to ask a Dr. Ken question?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. We are always talking about like skiing is kind of a one-footed sport. Basically, it's talking about balance on the outside ski. So do you ever see a problem like can we overdo it? I mean, are there other than the powder skiing, is it a limit? What I'm saying is like it's always put as much weight on outside ski as possible. Is this correct?
It's actually, balance on the outside ski is something that you're not trying to do. It's an outcome.
Okay.
So we have 4 technical references. One is use of all joints. Then we have lower body leads the turning effort. Then we have timing and coordination. Timing and coordination. And then what's the last one? Separation and angulation.
Yeah.
So there is no technical reference that says balance on the outside ski. Okay? If you do those things correctly, those 4 technical references, the outcome is balance on the outside ski.
It's a result.
It's the result.
Sure.
It's the result of turning from the lower body and letting the momentum carry you to the outside ski. So if you are trying to ski by balancing on the outside ski, yes, you can overdo it. Because what can happen if you actually go like this and try and balance on the outside ski, you can be skiing with not the correct line of inclination. Do you understand? You can go too much like if you're if you're riding your bicycle and you go around the corner on your bike, but you don't tip the bike in far enough, then you could be in trouble. You could actually fall to the outside. Do you understand?
Yeah, I understand. Okay, I need to...
Yeah, so change your thinking. You're not trying to balance on the outside ski. You're trying to turn from the lower body and angulate in order to improve grip. That's what you're trying to do. And the outcome of that is balance to the outside.
Okay. Thank you. Thank
good?
you. I will practice more. Okay.
Yeah, practice.
Another really quick one. Another really quick question. Just a follow up with last week's question. Like at which point I reach the maximum edge angle. So you talked about it depends on the different situation. So
yes.
If the situation is on the with the saddle, the blue line, steep
yes.
blue line, and
yes.
really well groomed and
yes.
pretty hard snow. And
yes.
if the level 3 intermediate parallel ski off is on this run, so
yes.
at which point you reach the maximum edge angle?
It's going to be somewhere around the belly of the turn. So
fall line at 3 o'clock.
Past the fall line.
Past the fall line, okay.
Past the fall line, that's going to be the belly of the turn. That's going to be where the skis are on their most steepest angle. And from that point to the turn completion, the skis are starting to go flat in order to prepare for the weight transfer.
Okay, so between 3 and 6 o'clock, something like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, correct. In there will be the steepest edge angle.
Okay, sure. Thank you. Because Blue Mountain level 3 ski off will be on a run similar to this, but much shorter. Much shorter one.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that Blue Mountain has a steep run like that.
Yeah, we have, but they're much shorter. Much shorter.
Okay. Those are good questions.
Oh, I found the picture. I don't know if is it coming up?
Yeah.
That's a picture of.
This is a picture of Monique at her job.
And she's an airline attendant.
Yes, she's a flight attendant. Wow. And then this is her crew.
Wow.
Crazy.
That's crazy. You know, if I went in on that plane, I would not feel safe.
No, they're all wearing masks, all of them. It's so gross. Oh, I don't even want to fly anymore.
No, I'm not flying anymore. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to drive across the country.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Good.
So allow me to do a house check. We talked about 1 hour happy hour with Dr. Ken, and now I think we are already an hour. I just wondering if you have another 20 minutes so that we can continue the conversation, and then
love it.
Let you go. Okay.
Let's keep going.
Yeah.
I want to ask a question to Esta. About bump skiing. Like you mentioned, the first day you tried to ski just one side, like starting with maybe just 3 bumps, then coming into 5. So my question is, if you want to sum it up in stages of bump progress on bump skiing, like roughly how many stages? Like I guess this one side trying to ski bump is the first stage. Then when you find your next level of improvement, what was that? And like what's the end result? Like now when you ski those bumps, you don't feel like it's probably any difference than groomed runs, maybe, like because you just know how to handle it. Just so if from there, from the beginning of just skiing one side into bumps up to now, like roughly how many stages of progress, like you can sum it
depends. It changes, and it changes like at the beginning of the season, for example. Sometimes I look at a run and I think, oh my God, how am I going to do this? Like the old ideas sometimes don't shut up. Sometimes they just come and they hang around and you're like, no, go away. But it depends. And it's really weird because after I broke my leg, I just went crazy and did bump skiing, and it's fine. And then I don't know why. Last season, which was, this past season, which would be the third season after I got it, my level 3, and 4 years after I broke my leg, all of a sudden I had this really creepy feeling sometimes, and I couldn't go down a run, like more the steep stuff that I never had a problem skiing some of the steep stuff. And I just got a creepy feeling about it, and I couldn't do it. And then I realized what it was is when I broke my leg, it was a very foggy day, couldn't see like 3 feet in front. And that was one of the reasons that contributed to that accident happening, because I didn't see that there was a thing. And any time that there was that kind of conditions, it would freak me out, and that feeling would last. And if I didn't, and then it would lead to something else, me being scared of something else. They call it PTSD, and it really is a thing. And I actually became scared whenever there were birds walking around in Whistler. I became scared, more scared of the birds. And I thought, okay, this has got to stop. And I talked to a lady by the name of Donnie Blunden. And she said, yeah, because she suffered quite a bit with PTSD. She had some tragic stuff happen. And just working through that. But then, as Kenny said, sometimes, you go forward and you go back a bit. Sometimes you got to go down before you go up. So I thought, okay, I'm scared of skiing that run. That's fine. It's okay. It's okay to be scared. Just go and do something that you know you're going to enjoy. And you got to treat yourself like there's 2 people inside your head. Be nice to the little girl inside there. Say, okay, sweetie, you don't have to do that. You know what I mean? Like, be kind to that side of you, and to get yourself encouraged. And there was an amazing, amazing book. I'll give Lynn the title. It's called, what's it called? Fear into the Yikes Zone. Yikes, into the Yikes Zone. And the subtitle is A Conversation with Fear. And it's written by a woman who was on the US demo team. She suddenly became scared of something. And she goes back to when she was teaching swimming, and how this big man came to her for swimming lessons, although most of her students were children. He was petrified of the water. And in 3 feet of water, he was freaking out. And she described fear, it's like the 4 letters, fictitious events appearing real. 95% of what you worry about never happens. It never happens. So it's all here. So because it doesn't happen, stop worrying about it and think about what you have to do. So with students that are scared on a steeper run that they've never done before, like a blue or a black, say, right, how many turns do you have to do? Only 1. Okay, let's do that 1 turn. Oh my God, look, you did it. You did it well. That's congratulations. Are you ready to do another one? Okay, do another one. Hey, stop. I didn't say do 3. I said only 1. So you find that once you've conquered 1 little step and the next step, you'll be running off. There's no kind of stage. Okay, again, that's overthinking, right? We all do it. I always do it myself. So you conquer each step as it comes. And then the other thing, withstanding your feelings that are negative in any way, it's like there's a doorway. If you're outside of the door, it's fine, you're safe. You're not putting yourself in that commitment danger zone. The worst part of the door is standing in the doorway. Don't stand in the doorway. Either stand back from it or go through it. Don't stand in the doorway, because that's when you start to self-doubt, to second guess yourself, to have negative thoughts, and then it just you'll be stuck in the doorway, and then you don't want to go back, but you don't want to go forward, and you're stuck. So either stay back or go right through it. It's a great book. That's a super book.
Cool. Hey, I was just going to add to that, Esta. I'm just going to say that if you're looking for perfection in the bumps, you're never going to find it.
Well, one turn, yes.
One turn,
In the
turns.
middle, yes.
Yes. But bumps is a situation where if you're skiing hard, if you're in challenging terrain, you're being put off balance by the terrain itself, and you're always adjusting, always recovering, and it's never going to feel like skiing on a perfectly groomed run. If it does feel like that, then the bumps are too easy for you.
Yeah.
So bumps by nature is a situation that is demanding on very quick balance type moves. And sometimes we say a series of linked recoveries.
Yes.
And that is so true. You watch a good bump skier and they're making subtle recoveries all the way down the bump run in order to make the run exciting, in order to make it energetic, in order to make it look great for people that are watching. And it's never perfect. Okay, so perfection is not what you're looking for, but recovering from difficult situations, adapting to terrain and snow conditions as you go. This is what bump skiing is all about. So, yeah.
It's that question I asked Lynn earlier.
Yeah.
Why do you ski? Why do you ski? Because it's fun and it's exciting, and that's why we. Yeah, but when you do it, even like as Kenny said, the linked recoveries, and I remember that one of the last turns in my bump run, it was like, oh my God, a rock, and I jumped over it. Okay, a 6-inch jump, but still, it was exciting to me to have that, and I made it. I didn't fall on my face, and I think that's what's exciting. Like, to me, it's more exciting to drive on Highway 99 than it is to drive on 2nd Street and Hastings or whatever, boring, and to watch people skiing. Like, would you rather watch Ken Painter ski just a boring run on a beginner hill, or would you rather watch Ken Painter ski some crazy run down the saddle at 60 miles an hour? You know, we want the excitement part. We want that. That's why there's racing in every sport, to see push harder, higher, faster. Yeah.
Good.
We want to be excited. That makes you feel alive. That's what gives you the music. Brahms' lullaby is nice, but let's face it, sometimes hard rock is better. Yeah.
Feel the heartbeat. I think we discussed about, early today when I talked with Esta, just share with the audience, we talked about, being perfection or being right seems occurs for us as Chinese, because we have been trained to get, the full score to do it right. But on the other hand, we do need to feel the joy inside. We need to enjoy skiing, and we need to feel our heartbeat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I also shared another thought with Esther earlier today. It was about to be the owner of your own journey. So sometimes I think we came from China and we share the common mentality, saying that, well, someone told me, Lynn, you are so selfish. It seems that you are, just to chase your own passion and go to the mountain, and we really feel you are not looking after the family. So it seems that for the Chinese mentality, that I need to be a good wife, I need to be a good mom, I need to be a good daughter, I need to be a good whatever. But yeah, sometimes I just thought that we are not allowed to be ourselves. Mm-hmm. So I shared with someone, Esta is so graceful and elegant each time I saw her. She is herself. She's a butterfly. I admire her so much. So I also noticed Jess Shen in the chat box that, Esta, I just want to say, you're amazing.
Oh my God.
You're amazing.
You guys are all amazing. Honestly, people in the ski industry, and when I see you guys are obviously super passionate, otherwise you wouldn't be on this quest for more knowledge to ski better, and to choose somebody like Ken, who it's such an honor to be in Kenny's presence, in his circle. To get a hug from Kenny is just like, oh my God, this is just so great. My husband and I both love him to pieces. Like I said, he's like a brother to us, and it's an honor to share stuff with people who have the same feelings. You feel safe, you feel loved, you feel cared for, and it's easy to be yourself with people like you guys. Like, you know, if you want to cry in front of each other, you cry in front of each other. If you want to say, hey, come and see, look, I got this, I did this, look how good my nail polish is, or oh my God, look how terrible this is. You can share everything without feeling threatened. And the common thing is, because we understand those feelings of skiing and how hard it is, and it's people who are brave who will try to ski better and better and better, no matter what their age, whether they're 5 years old or 55. And like, you know, people say, oh yeah, you know, got my level 3 at 67, whatever. I'll be 70 this year. Oh my God, I can't believe it. But it was an absolute pleasure to teach this English professor from UBC. And he's 80, he'll be 85 this year. And I got him when he was 79, always wanting to improve. And he improved each time that we skied together. And it's like, oh my God, if this man can do it, I can do it too. You know, there's no reason, unless you have some terrible disease, God forbid, that will stop you in your tracks. There's no reason to not improve. And as Kenny said, fitness, you know, keeping up a level of fitness, because that's going to keep you safe, and that's going to keep you strong. It's going to keep you in rhythm. Like now with this whole COVID thing, I've been super lazy. And when I get up from the chair, it's like, oh my God, I have to unwind myself because I feel so stiff. But oh no, this is bad. Tomorrow I'll start exercising. But we have to do it. We have to do it. And thank you so much for honoring me with sharing this stuff with you, because I do want to share that. It's selfish to keep it to yourself. And I think we all get so much out of the skiing. Right, Kevin? Yes. Like special super hugs. I hug Kevin and it's like hugging a giant Hulk.
Big tree.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lynn, for organizing this. It's such a treat for myself, and I think Esta just said that. I hope it's a treat for everyone else. So on behalf of myself and Esta, and I think everyone, thank you for organizing these
awesome
Friday evening chats. It's wonderful.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you, Esta. Thank you, Ken.
Oh, cool.
Really enjoy it.
Beautifully.
Sorry?
Living beautifully with uncertainty and change. So
gorgeous.
When I read this book, it reminds me of you.
Oh, thank you.
With uncertainty and change, I think you are actually leave behind a legacy, talking about your career, your life journey, and your, yeah, I think it's really inspiring.
Thank you.
You're so graceful. And
thank you so much, all of you guys. Thanks. And anytime you guys have a question, you can find me on Facebook. I'm not really awesome on Facebook, and I'll private message back. But estaevans@gmail.com. So feel free. And I've got these bits and pieces of stuff that I've written on my journey, and I'm happy to share it with you. Stuff about persistence, persistence versus, what was it? I forget what the guys, like being stubborn, the difference between, people said I was being stubborn sometimes. No, I was persisting. So anyway, thank you guys. Thank you so much.
I wish that we can again in the future with this session.
There.
Thank you, guys. Be
Thank you.
safe.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
One.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Hi, thank you again.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.